Hey guys, welcome to our channel. If you're new here, thanks for joining us today. We're going to be making some cinnamon rolls today, y'all. Ricky and I are going to show you how easy it is to make these. They're good for dessert in the morning or whenever you like. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for joining us. We're going to go ahead and get into the video.
So let's go over our ingredients for our cinnamon rolls. This is some all-purpose flour, warm milk, some salt, active dry yeast. We also have 1 tablespoon and 1/2 a cup of granulated sugar, divided, of course. We're gonna need about 6 tablespoons of melted butter, 2 large eggs, pure vanilla extract, and 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And then for the filling for our cinnamon rolls, you're going to need about 1 cup of packed brown sugar, 2.5 tablespoons of ground cinnamon, and 6 tablespoons of softened or melted butter, depending on how you want to do the filling for your cinnamon rolls. And I'll tell you what our cream cheese frosting recipe is a little bit later. And as always, the ingredients and their exact measurements are down below in the description. All right, let's get started. All right, so to start, I'm going to warm my milk up for our dough. When blooming yeast, you want to make sure your milk or water, whatever you use, is not hot because you could kill your yeast, and your dessert or whatever you're making won't rise.
That's very important.
Yes, definitely be careful during this step. We warmed ours up to about 105 degrees, but if you don't have a thermometer, just, kind of feel for it and make sure it's warm and not hot.
Yeah, you don't want to burn yourself. Just make sure it's warm to touch.
So that was a tablespoon of sugar and a tablespoon of active dry yeast, and now I'm just mixing it up really well. Making sure there's no yeast, stuck to the spoon, because it has a tendency to do that. So after I mixed it up well, I just let it sit for about 5 minutes. And it was all frothy looking like that.
That's how you know it's ready. You'll get that frothy looking. You'll see it working, and you'll look like, oh, it's doing something.
Right.
So after about 5 minutes, you know it's ready.
So I've added my yeast mixture to our mixing bowl, 1/2 cup of sugar, and this is 6 tablespoons of melted butter.
Can't see it, but it's there.
Right. The bottom of the bowl is yellow.
See, there it is.
And I would definitely suggest using a really good quality butter.
Yeah, we like Kerrygold.
Yeah.
It does make a difference when you're making something that you don't normally make every day. It makes a difference in the flavoring. So
it really does.
Yeah, you want to make sure you use quality ingredients, especially if you're making it for a crowd or a party or some special dinner or something. The better ingredients you use, the more flavor you get, the better flavor you get overall. So
now I've just added 2 eggs, and I had just a little bit of vanilla left in that bottle, and we never measure our vanilla, so I just poured whatever was in there. But
so y'all watch any of our videos, y'all know sometimes we measure, but most of the time we don't.
Right.
So
but you would usually add a teaspoon of vanilla if you would like a measurement, and like we said, it'll be down in the description. So So now I'm just going to mix this just until it's combined using our hand mixer and our dough hook attachments, because we're not at a stand mixer yet.
We will be though.
We're getting there.
Prayerfully. Hey, you gotta start somewhere.
Right. So just until this is combined, you don't want to overmix anything. And now I'm adding my all-purpose flour just a little bit at a time. I had 4.5 cups in this bowl, and I had a little under half of a cup of flour left. So it could be different for you, but just keep that in mind. Added my salt, and now I'm going to add some cinnamon, which I think is definitely an important step if you're going to make cinnamon rolls. Putting some cinnamon in the dough itself as well.
Yeah, that makes a difference as opposed to just putting something on top. And we mentioned that too in our strawberry waffle video. We actually put strawberry flavoring in the batter when we were making the waffles. And here, the same thing. We're putting the cinnamon in the dough and not just on top. And that kicks the flavor up a notch.
It really does.
These cinnamon rolls are infused with cinnamon.
So as you can see, I'm just mixing, adding a little bit of flour at a time, mixing, scraping down the sides of the bowl. That's another very important step. Make sure you mix down the sides of your bowl. And to check to see if the dough is done, I'm going to do the finger test. I did that, I think, in the garlic knots video. I might have done it in the lemon blueberry rolls video as well, but
yeah, you'll see it in a sec. She'll show you guys.
If no dough transfers after touching it, to your finger, then you know your dough is ready to be risen or kneaded, depending on how you're making it.
Right.
And I'm actually going to knead it.
Yeah. I was going to say, you see how it's just gathering up a little bit around the edges? It's kind of making a ball.
Right, which is what it would do if you're using a stand mixer, of course. But because, we're using a hand mixer, it's just, acting a little bit different. But it's still kind of forming a ball.
Right.
But if you probably won't even need to knead your dough if you use a stand mixer.
Right, and you can do without kneading it with a hand mixer as well. If you just knead it, mix it longer, but you got to be careful because you don't want to over mix it. So it's better to just stop and knead it a little bit as opposed to just keep going with the risk of over beating it. And there's a finger test.
Right. So now I'm going to flour my work surface, and I'm going to knead it just for, I think I kneaded it for maybe 5 minutes, just until it was, workable, and it formed a ball and it looked cohesive, how a dough ball should look. But yeah, kneading is definitely an important step when making any kind of dough.
And you want to make sure you flour your surface in your hands to prevent it from just completely sticking to your counter or whatever surface you're using. That's what's important about adding flour.
And I would definitely suggest a bench scraper.
That's a little fancy tool that she loves so much. If you'll watch our other videos, y'all will know she loves her tool.
Right. It gets up everything.
It really does. Amazing. It is amazing. She's working that dough, y'all.
So after I kneaded it, I just formed it into like a little ball. And I greased a clean bowl with some olive oil spray. We've used that a few times in our videos. And we let our dough rise for about an hour. And previously we've covered the bowl with plastic wrap, but this time we used a warm, damp towel.
The press and seal.
Yes, press and seal. I couldn't
think
of the name of it.
The wonderful press and seal.
There is a difference.
Yes. So it's really a matter of preference. So we, sometimes we'll use that, and you'll see us use a towel as well. So.
Right. Just different techniques. I just soak that in water, the towel that is. Soak the towel in water, and wring out as much water as you can, and then I put mine in the microwave actually.
Just to warm it up a little bit, yeah.
So here is the filling. Now earlier I mentioned during the ingredients that I was going to talk about the different methods of doing your filling. Now you could either use this brown sugar cinnamon mix and add in some softened butter like this here, or you can just do the brown sugar and cinnamon mix and brush some melted butter on your rolled out dough, and then just sprinkle the brown sugar mix over it. I actually did both because I thought that was just going to taste wonderful, and it did.
It really did make a difference.
Yeah, so I melted maybe 3 or 4 tablespoons of butter and brush that on the dough, and you'll see me do that a little bit later.
And you can also use light brown sugar as well if you like. Yeah. We just wanted to use the dark brown sugar. You'll probably know that just from you know, eating cinnamon rolls, is you can have them with light or dark brown sugar. The dark brown just makes them more caramelized.
Yeah, there's definitely a difference in flavor for sure between dark and brown. So dark and brown, dark and light. So one tip that I learned, I guess, when it comes to rolling things out in a rectangle, which I cannot stand, is to kind of work your dough ball that you have into like a rough square or rectangle before you start, you know, rolling, because you'll get the square much easier. You know,
it's so good. It's so soft, and it's just really a good, you know, sometimes you get dough and it's like too hard or whatever. This is just like the perfect texture for working, you know. You can just see how soft it is.
Yeah, just make sure you have plenty of flour on hand, you know, so you can just reach and grab it whenever you need it.
And keep your surfaces floured.
But as you can see, I'm still trying to maintain that square shape by, you know, working it into the shape so I could just roll it out. And I rolled mine to about 20 inches. I think it was like 19 inches exactly. But depending on how big you want to cut your cinnamon rolls and how many you want to make, also has an effect on how wide you're going to cut roll your dough.
And with a clean ruler,
yes,
you can measure out your dough. You know, however you want to do it. It's up to you. Or you can not measure it at all. You can just eyeball it if you'd like. But if you're really trying to get a certain amount of rolls, you want to make sure you measure, you know, with the goal that you set. So
this is the melted butter. I said I was gonna brush on there. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just try to get as close to the edges as you can when you're doing this step and the next step, which I could have went a little bit further on the ends of the dough with the butter and the cinnamon brown sugar mix. But you do want to leave a little bit of room at the end of, like, if you're rolling towards the end, that's the end you want that little bit of space on, so you can pinch your dough like closed after you roll it, so your cinnamon rolls won't come apart or your filling won't come out or whatever. So now I'm just spreading the mixture, and I'm going to use a spatula to spread it more evenly. I felt like I had better control over where I was putting it because I knew it wasn't going to go very far after I put it down, but as you can see, it worked, but it didn't. So I'm just putting in places, you know, filling in those bare spots that you see. But this part is, you know, pretty self-explanatory. But the rolling, I've heard that if you roll your cinnamon rolls too tight, they'll, like, you know, pop up in the middle. I haven't made cinnamon rolls a whole lot to test that theory, you know. So
this is like maybe the third or fourth time
making
these. So
I didn't roll them too loose, I didn't roll them too tight. So as you can see, I'm starting at the very edge and taking my time going across.
And these, I'm telling you, this right here is flavor. When you cut these, you'll see it's like flavor in every cinnamon roll. It's just great. It's just the right amount of flavor in each one. Yeah. It worked out really good the way you cut them.
It really does, in my opinion, taste similar to cinnamon. Like, I'm not just saying that. Like, it's like cinnamon has like a
flavor of its all of its own.
Right, I can't explain it. It's just not, I just don't taste it when I taste other cinnamon rolls.
Right, at other places. But these right here, giving them a run for their money. I'm telling you. Delicious. You have to try them.
So as you can see, my giant roll has a whole bunch of lines in it, because I was like, oh, let me try and measure out, you know, so I can get a even amount, or I can get them all the same shape. I didn't even need to do that.
Nope.
As long as you're cutting them around the same size, right? You know, you'll be okay.
And it just kind of worked out. You just, after you start cutting them, you realize, oh, this is around the right size. You know, you could just eyeball it.
You'll get a feel for it after you cut so many. And I cut off the ends that, like, you know, didn't get that much filling, but I ended up using it anyway. You know, I just baked them.
And you can see the flavor, all of the flavor in every cinnamon roll. You know, it just evenly spread, which was great. So that's why it's important to spread it out, you know, evenly when you're doing your dough and it's all flat like that. You want to make sure you spread it evenly so all of your cinnamon rolls will have the same amount of flavoring, of good stuff on the inside.
So this, I was able to cut 15, you know, normal sized cinnamon rolls out of that, you know, huge log that I had, and I had those other 2 left over that I said I just cooked. And we roast this for about 30 minutes before cooking, and I buttered a 9x13 dish, and this is a regular pie dish for those extra ones that I'm cooking. And now these are going in after the second rise. The oven's at 350, and these cooked for about 20-25 minutes. And you can cook them for less time if you'd like to, but you know, however you like. So this is the ingredients for the cream cheese frosting: 2 cups of powdered sugar, 8-ounce block of cream cheese, a pinch of salt, about 4 tablespoons of butter, and vanilla extract. Like we said, we don't measure, but you can use about a teaspoon or so. So I'm going to cream the butter and the cream cheese together, just, you know, to get them together. And then I'm adding in a pinch of salt and some more vanilla. And I added in the powdered sugar just a little bit at a time. Not some more vanilla. I just realized I said some more. I'm adding in the vanilla. Right. And now I'm adding in the powdered sugar just little by little, just to avoid the you know, the poof that you could get if you just added it all together.
Exactly. Yes.
Because I don't usually get lumps when using powdered sugar, because they just break apart so easily. It's not like flour, you know. It's even more fine than flour. Right. So lumps weren't really anything to worry about, but as long as it's smooth and spreadable, you can actually add milk or half and half to this and make it thinner if you want to like drizzle your cinnamon rolls. But we wanted more of like an icing or frosting, really. So yes, we didn't use milk or anything.
Oh man, look at that.
Yes. So these are after they cooked, obviously.
Cinnamon goodness.
Those look so good.
Yes. See how perfectly they're the perfect size and everything. These turned out great. So you can let them cool, of course, you know, before you add your icing, or you can let it while they're a little bit warm, so the icing can like kind of thin out and fall over.
Yeah, we actually iced, you know, while they were hot. So these are hot, and the icing, you can see how the icing is just going to kind of melt and just, you know, fall wherever on the roll. And then the next ones we're going to be, you know, not room temperature, but, you know, warmer.
Just a little bit.
I mean, not warmer, cooler.
I know what you meant.
She knew what I meant. Y'all just need to catch up. But yeah, these are great for dessert, breakfast.
Yes, I like to have these with a cup of coffee, of course. Yeah. So this frosting is actually perfect for these cinnamon rolls. Yep. It's great. So if you try this recipe, please let us know if you decide to do it with, you know, use the frosting or not. Because some people don't like the frosting. But
and some people even do more like just a regular glaze without cream cheese.
Right.
But I think a cinnamon roll, I think a cream cheese. There's just no way I'm not going to.
Right. You can see that one in the back there on the side, and these two in the back are kind of just melting, because those are warmer than this one here in the front. So we wanted to see how they would react differently.
And another thing you could do, you can make your frosting thicker than this and pipe it on there. I've seen some people do that.
Right. So many different ways to do it.
They're all going to be good.
So it don't matter.
Point blank. They're all going to be good and they're all going to get eaten.
Exactly.
But yeah, these are delicious. They're soft. I just cannot.
Soft, buttery, and just full of cinnamon flavor. So good.
I'm speechless. I've run out of words to say.
Oh my goodness. You definitely cannot have these all the time. For sure. This has to be just a treat for you every now and then.
Yeah.
You can just see how, oh goodness. Just look at that.
Look at it.
So soft. And you can see all of the cinnamon on the inside and how it's just infused in there. So.
And the sticky, you know, from the brown sugar. It's kind of sticky. It's just goodness.
That's a great recipe, guys.
So like she said, let us know if you guys try these out in the comments down below. We hope you enjoyed the video.
Yes.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and click the notification bell so you'll know when we post our next video.
Tell all your friends about us.
Please. All right, see you guys later.
Thanks for joining us.